honorary held its first debate over the weekend.
The economy is expected to expand 2.5% this year.
Boosting Korea's ties with its global partners on the sidelines of the status UN summit. A massive drone attack on Ukraine overnight on Monday and Tuesday.
Arirang.
안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to a brand new week on the Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-influencers, K-climate, K-everything. And joining me today in the studio is our co-host Walter Lee. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Sola, and hello to our viewers at home. Walter Lee here to give you your daily dose of K-Enter news, just like I always do. But before we start, there was something that you said at the start, Sola, that I haven't heard you say before. Was it K-climate?
You heard correct, Walter.
Yeah.
I said that because today we are going to invite a leading climate expert onto our program. And he is active in Busan, not only as a researcher, but also as an honorary citizen.
Well, I can't wait to get to that part.
It sounds very interesting, but also our K-entertainment section today is very interesting as well. And we're going to start off, Walter, with that. We have some exciting news for Rosé fans out there.
We do indeed, including myself. So the final list of nominees for the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, you know, it's one of the biggest award shows for music, scheduled for February 2026 in Los Angeles, has been revealed, and Blackpink's Rosé has made history with 3 nominations for her hit song Apart featuring Bruno Mars. Now, in the categories of Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and also the Best Pop Duo Group Performance. Now, Rosé's first full-length album, Rosé, released in December of last year, sparked immense excitement upon its debut. Entirely written and composed by Rosé herself, the album entered the Billboard 200 at number 3 and stayed on the chart for 27 consecutive weeks. We reported on that, achieving both the highest position and longest run ever for a K-pop female artist.
That's a very, very significant nomination because it is the first time that a K-pop artist is being nominated for those specific major categories.
Indeed.
And we're going to stay with the Grammys, and there's more K-pop to talk about.
Yes, indeed. I think this is no surprise, though, that the song Golden from Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters has also secured nominations at the Grammy Awards for Golden, obviously. So Golden received a total of 5 nominations, including the Song of the Year. Now, I think that was the same, well, I just said it was Rosé and also K-pop Demon Hunters in the same category, so it's going to be quite interesting. Anyway.
Oh, wait, you said, oh, Rosé, you earlier mentioned that Rosé is nominated for Best Song of the Year.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
I got it.
So who is it going to take the prize? We both want them to win, but there's only one winner, Rosé or Huntrix or EJ. So it is hard to choose because the first half of the year was all about Rosé's song. I mean, we talked about it so much. And then the second half of the year was all about Golden. So do you have a favorite yourself?
This is such a difficult question, but let me answer like this.
Yes.
We're going up, up,
Up,
up,
up,
the apart.
Oh, Very, very good.
That was genius, right?
That was genius. I'm going to have to steal that.
Maybe, oh no, please. I need a copyright for that. Well, maybe I should answer like this, golden 아파트.
Golden 아파트, very good. Now, no matter who wins, obviously Korea's going to be very, very proud. And talking about singer EJ, who wrote and composed the song Golden and performed the song herself, said that this is a dream that she couldn't even begin to describe. Now, not only that, in addition, the global girl group Cat's Eye earned nominations for Best Artist and Best Pop Duo Group Performance. Also, something that Rosé was in, drawing significant attention as a rookie act. Now, it is an exceptional feat for the group that debuted less than a year ago to already be recognized by the biggest music award show, or one of the biggest at least.
All right, and last but not least, Walter, for our movie fans watching, some news on Park Chan-wook, and this time also related to LA.
Yes, indeed it is. So acclaimed Korean filmmaker Park Chan-wook will have a retrospective showcase that will take place in Los Angeles from November 16th to December 6th. So if you're in the area, please check it out. The special event will showcase 6 of his most celebrated works. Now that's including Joint Security Area, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Oh Boy, Lady Vengeance, there's something about vengeance in that name, The Handmaiden, and his obviously latest film, No Other Choice. Now, also part of the program, a Q&A session featuring Park Chan-wook himself and also actor Lee Byung-hun. The lead role from No Other Choice will be held, giving the audiences that rare opportunity to engage directly with the two.
Like Walter always likes to say, excellent. And thanks for the updates, Walter. Stick around.
Will do.
Now we move on to our AI anchor, Arirang, for more on the culture front. Arirang?
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The Culture Ministry has raised concern after a Supreme Court ruling cleared the way for high-rise construction near Jongmyo Shrine, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in central Seoul. Minister Cho Hui-young visited the shrine last week, expressing deep concern that the site's symbolic value as Korea's first UNESCO World Heritage could be compromised by nearby development. He criticized the Seoul city government for pressing ahead with redevelopment plans, saying it is difficult to understand how the city can proceed as it pleases without sufficient consultation with relevant parties, simply because it has legal authority. The minister added that the government will move to revise existing laws or introduce new legislation if necessary to protect the cultural value of the Jongmyo Shrine. Last month, the Seoul city government approved a redevelopment plan for the area across from Jongmyo, raising the maximum building height to about 145 meters. World champion T1 of Korea has made esports history by becoming the first team ever to claim 3 consecutive titles at the League of Legends World Championship. T1 defeated KD Rolster 3-2 in the finals of the 2025 Worlds, held on November 9th in Chengdu, China. With the win, T1 and its captain Lee Faker Sang-hyuk captured their 6th World's Championship and achieved the first ever three-peat in League of Legends esports history. More than 2.8 million people visited Seoul's outdoor library this year. Now in its 4th year, the program featured main venues at Seoul Plaza, Gwanghwamun, and by the Cheonggyecheon Stream, along with pop-up libraries across the city. It opened on April 23rd, coinciding with World Book and Copyright Day, and operated until November 2nd, excluding the peak summer season. Since its launch in 2022, the Seoul Outdoor Library has attracted a cumulative total of about 8 million visitors. The Seoul Outdoor Library has grown beyond a simple reading space to become a community platform, where both residents and tourists can share reading experiences and interact with one another. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
Korean culture isn't just about K-pop anymore. From literature to design, it's gaining global attention. In that spirit, Korea's Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism hosted a festival to celebrate those who are sharing Korean culture with the world. Our news features reporter Byun Ye-young, and if you look closely, I were there.
Held at the CKL stage in central Seoul, the K-Creators Awards kicked off the 2025 K-Wave Festival and honored global influencers, honorary reporters, and winners of the Talk Korea contest who have promoted Korea's culture in unique ways. Streamed live on KoreaNet's official YouTube channel, the event opened with a dynamic taekwondo performance by Junior K-Tigers, followed by remarks from a Culture Ministry representative.
In 2025, fueled by the global popularity of K-pop Demon Hunters, interest in Korean lifestyle, from food and fashion to traditional houses and medicine, is spreading worldwide. This growing closeness between Korea and the world is made possible by the passion and dedication of those who share and celebrate Korean culture.
Awards were presented to 15 individuals from around the world, recognizing their efforts to share Korean stories beyond just pop music.
Of course, I'm happy and feel proud of myself because this is my first time for me, and it keeps reminding for me to keep growing.
In this opportunity to create content about this topic, for me, it's really amazing for this connect with these people around the world.
And I think Korean literature is a hidden gem, so I want to introduce people to it and share my passion. And actually, I think Middle Eastern countries can learn from Korea's experience because they have some similarities.
After the ceremony, winners embarked on a 9-day cultural tour, exploring Seoul's landmarks and experiencing the depth of Korean heritage firsthand. The Culture Ministry says it hopes that events like this will help Korea share its creativity with the world, not just through K-pop, but through every facet of its culture. Hyunyeong, Arirang News.
We are in the midst of autumn here in Korea, a country with 4 distinct seasons. Or is it? According to observations, summer is becoming longer and winter shorter. At times, we've had unusually heavy rain in autumn, while recently, morning temperatures suddenly dropped below freezing. Abnormal weather is not only confined to Korea, but it is a global issue. But why am I talking about the weather? Today, for our Hallyu People segment, we invite a world-renowned climatologist who is active in Korea, not only as a researcher, but also as an honorary citizen. We have with us Axel Timmermann, Director and Distinguished Professor of the IBS Center for Climate Physics at Busan National University. Welcome, Professor Timmermann. Es ist eine Ehre, Sie hier zu haben.
Ebenfalls, likewise.
So for our international viewers, what I just said is it's an honor to have you here. And there we have 2 common things that we have. We're both from Germany, and we're experts in climate-related things because I'm a former weathercaster, but you are the expert, Professor Timmermann. So you are a leading authority in the field of climate scientist. So currently, where are you affiliated at, and where do you conduct your research?
So in 2017, when I moved to South Korea, I launched the IBS Center for Climate Physics in Busan. And the center originally started just with 1 person, and then slowly a team grew, and now we are up to 61 people. And we have become one of the largest climate research centers. The IBS stands for Institute for Basic Science, so it's a research institution funded by the Ministry for Science and ICT, one of the premier research institutions worldwide, actually. And our center, which is one of 31 centers of this IBS organization, is based at Busan National University, and this is kind of our hosting institution.
What a development in the past years. And just a few days ago, I actually read an article from you and your team, and it said that you're predicting that we're going to see increasingly unstable ocean currents, and that on the back of melting sea ice. So could you please elaborate a little bit on that recent research?
The ocean currents we are referring to are the ocean currents in the Arctic Ocean. Think about the North Pole. There is a big ocean there, the Arctic Ocean, and normally when it's very cold, wintertime and even summertime, it's frozen, so we call that sea ice. And then on top we have the atmosphere, and the energy from the winds normally moves around this sea ice, this frozen water. But as the sea ice melts, it starts to actually move around the water, and these ocean currents become unstable there, and they they transport a lot of material, a lot of nutrients from the Siberian shelf regions into the interior of the Arctic. So we will expect very, very different ecosystem responses also in response to this melting of the Arctic sea ice.
And all of that is happening because of global warming,
That's correct.
I believe.
Yes.
Yes, it is a subject that is worrying for, parents like myself, for their children's future and, what we can do about it right now. But Professor, I read a very interesting and somewhat amazing statistic that you have been named one of the top 1% most influential researchers in the world by Clarivet, and that's 7 consecutive years that you've been named this. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's an amazing achievement.
I'm very happy, of course, to see that my research also has an impact on other scientists and also on other research projects and also research disciplines. So my research does not only play a role in the climate research discipline, but it also affects ecology, anthropology, archaeology. And recently, a high school student from the Philippines said, "Oh, I'm very excited to meet you, sir." And I said, "Well, why?" This is likewise. And then he said, "Well, you're very famous in the Philippines." And I said, "What?" I was really surprised. And he said, "Your research is featured in high school textbooks." I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
So this gives me a little bit of a feeling that 25 years of research are really paying off in some way, that I had a little impact on society, hopefully.
Wow.
And our understanding of how the climate system works.
Wow, I mean, not little impact, I have to say, really big impact. And I mean, climate, weather, all of that is so important to everyone in the world. And I guess that is why you can even see your research in textbooks, probably not only in the Philippines, but other places around the world. And something that's also very interesting is you've been named an honorary citizen of the city of Busan, where you are currently located at. That was back in July. So how did this come about? And also, what kind of activities do you do as an honorary citizen?
Well, I think, 2017, when I started and launched this research center together with my team, I think we were pretty much a nobody in the world of climate research. And now, in February of this year, an international team visited our Center of Institute Directors. And they unanimously decided that we are one of the world-leading research centers in climate research. And I think this was kind of recognized by Busan city, the idea that we brought Busan on the map of research and science in general. And I think that was maybe one of the reasons why the honorary citizenship was bestowed on me. And what activities, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm trying to promote Busan, such as right now here, as much as possible. And also worldwide, I'm trying to recruit more scientists also coming to Korea, to our center. But in general, I think Korea is a fantastic place to conduct basic research. And I'm trying to advocate that idea worldwide on conferences and to colleagues.
Right. It's been just a few months since you've been appointed as an honorary citizen. Probably you haven't had yet many official events that you participated in, but I guess having that title itself means you feel that you're more responsible to advocate the city. And Professor Timmermann, what does life in Busan actually mean to you? And could you share with us any unique cultural experiences that you had in Busan or just generally in Korea?
I think Busan, first of all, is a fantastic city, and I'm speaking, of course, as a citizen, but also as an honorary citizen, trying to promote Busan. But I mean, we have amazing beaches, as everybody knows, of course. Fantastic city life. In general, living expenses are quite cheap. Nature is amazing. You go back into the mountains, and there are small hidden temples everywhere. So I think exploring just this city, as the vibrancy of this city, is something that I enjoy tremendously. And scientifically, I think it was also a very good choice to move to Busan. In 2016, when I considered moving to South Korea, there were other options. I decided to move to Busan because there is just a very good research environment at the university, and in particular also climate related. And then I think also this being a very attractive city makes it very interesting for international scientists. So over the last 8 years, we had scientists from 17 different countries work with us actually in the center. And I think this is also partly because just from a attraction point of view, Busan has a lot to offer to international scientists.
I'd sort of like to stick on what you were just talking about there, about studying or researching within Busan. Do you have any specific reason why, like, conducting your research in Busan is ideal for you? Like, is there any inspiration or significance that maybe the city provides that maybe other cities within South Korea may not? Why exactly Busan?
I think it was personal in some way because I used to work as a professor of oceanography at the University of Hawaii. So the ocean is always important, and leaving Hawaii, it was very important, of course, to be close to the ocean. And also as an oceanographer and climate scientist, I think I would stay in a maritime environment. So Busan really played a role, but also at the university, there were outstanding climate researchers already who helped support our center and who also joined our center. So it was very natural a very natural fit for our center to be in Busan. Yeah.
Now, Professor Timmermann, that also makes me curious about collaboration in the field of climate. So how are research activities in Korea creating synergies with international collaboration or scientific researches?
So in 2018, we bought one of South Korea's fastest supercomputers. It's called Aleph. And this became really like a collaboration hub in some way. There were research groups from the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado, in the United States, who contacted us to conduct simulations on this computer that they couldn't conduct on their computers in the United States. So this became really like a starting point for many important collaborations. Another collaboration to highlight is one with the Alfred Wegener Institute in Bremerhaven in Germany. It's one of the largest polar research centers. They developed a climate model that was very suitable for us. So we ran computer model simulations together with our colleagues from the center on the Aleph supercomputer to understand future climate change at the highest possible resolution, so we can simulate the entire globe, how it changes, ocean currents, winds, temperatures, rainfall, everything on a 9-kilometer scale worldwide. So we can really zoom into the details of different areas much more accurately than the typical models that are used in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change assessments.
That's amazing.
It does sound like you have a lot of responsibility. And just to stick to I guess the theme of responsibility, what do you consider your social responsibility as a researcher studying climate change here in Korea?
So I think originally I started in theoretical physics, and the reason why I switched to climate research was because I wanted to do something that has societal relevance and societal benefits. So this responsibility issue was always very important for me. And here in South Korea in particular, our center is not only committed to conduct outstanding research, basic research, but also to share the data that we have and the knowledge that we have with the general public, also with the ministries, with essentially high schools. Everybody has access to our research, and we have a dedicated outreach office that organizes outreach events, this is really important for us to share our knowledge with the general public, to educate essentially Korean citizens about the threats of climate change, but also the possibilities to handle it or to cut down CO2 emissions, how to manage it.
You play a very significant role in everything related to climate science, but what do you think is Korea's role when it comes to global climate research? Does Korea have a big role when it comes to this field, and especially when talking with other countries together?
Yeah. Of course, life in Korea is very carbon intensive, so we have a very large carbon footprint, but a relatively small population size. So in some way, being an extremely advanced country technologically, it could really showcase also the way into carbon neutrality. And this is quite important. All the knowledge is here. There is also economic power. There are companies that produce amazing batteries and so on. So I think all the elements are together, and also the will to essentially become carbon neutral as soon as possible. So I feel like this is a fantastic environment to see and develop strategies to show to the world how an advanced country with a very high carbon footprint, though, can move into carbon neutrality.
And finally, as an honorary citizen of Busan and a leading climatologist, would there be a message you would like to share with maybe other experts in this field or aspiring climatologists and those who maybe want to work in Korea in this field?
I think what's very important to know is, well, there are a lot of scientists who try to follow in some way what their supervisors have been doing and so on, but independence is really important. Think out of the box, try to take risks, be brave, and leave the comfort zone. So if a scientist says, oh, I don't know anything about it, and this is usually a good sign, in principle, because it means you can learn something new. So not stepping back and say, I don't know anything about it, I don't want to touch it, I will stay in my comfort zone. So I think the idea really also of our center is to try high-risk research, meaning something that nobody has done, but if we are successful, to really make a major contribution.
Well, Professor Timmermann, that's actually a great inspiring message to everyone, not only in climatology, but really a very great message. And on that note, we want to thank you very much for being here in the studio with us today and for sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.